And welcome to the latest episode of Nerds Amalgamated. With me this week, I have the DJ. How you
Hey
going?
guys, not too bad. Another fun day.
Yeah. And also with us this week, we have the Professor.
Hello.
How you going?
All right.
Such enthusiasm.
Yeah, I'm not really enthusiastic at the moment because I'm worried that if I breathe wrong on my computer, it will decide to stop working again.
Oh.
Because I was playing up over the weekend, so I thought, okay, I'll spend a couple of evenings stress testing it. Not a single problem until 5 minutes before we start recording.
Well, it must just be the stress of being in my brilliant presence.
Computer can't handle it.
That's it. Talking about stress testing and so forth, first topic up this week is the stress of funding.
It is. That's a sort of general title I've come up with for the theme for this week, which, continuing in the sort of series I'm doing on game development, I thought I'd talk a bit about where people are getting that funding from for game development, because last week I had the article about how most game developers make less than minimum wage. So this week, the first point I've got here is a tweet from Jason Schreier from Kotaku, I think.
Yep.
So he's tweeted out saying that he's talked to two indie devs who have made deals with Epic, that apparently the deal has made sure that they will break even no matter how many copies they sell. And he's in favor of that because it's stability in an unstable field.
It's got like, at least someone's actually trying to do the right thing by people and improve the marketplace.
Yes, that comes along with the Phoenix Point developers, who reported to their investors back in April that they'd made 191% return from going exclusive. So before the games even come out, they've almost doubled their investment into developing it.
Awesome. We'll have to make sure we got links to those other articles there. At the moment, all I've got is the Twitter.
Yeah, I threw them in the chat because I didn't get them in time for the meeting.
Okay.
Such is life.
No, that's all good.
The DJ can fix that later.
Yeah. No, it's looking good. I'm looking at the Twitter feed that you got here for us from Jason Schreier.
I assume that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, yep.
The DJ here is our wonderful pronunciation coach.
Yes, and his excellent pronunciation of Danny Trejo.
But yeah, like I'm loving the fact that like Jason's giving all this like a good bit of a shout out and saying, "Oh yeah, we got some good things here." He's in favor of breaking up the Steam's monopoly and all this, and trying to get a bit more stability for developers. And someone who's had their picture and their name redacted on CIA level stuff, going in and abusing, gamers do whatever they want, especially if they don't want to use a Chinese personal data collector. Like seriously, like can we get someone that's more? I'm sorry, I'm going to upset someone here, I'm sure, but inbred and redneck. Like this guy's got to be related to the president of the United States. Like seriously,
God.
this is as dumb as Donald Trump's assertion during the week about the shootings being related to games violence. Like seriously, like can people just pull their head out of whatever orifice they've got it stuck in and act like a human being for a change?
No, we can't manage that.
No, it won't happen. They're too spineless to do it.
I know you got to be pretty spineless to get your head into the orifice that some of these people get it into. I'm sure, because the spine doesn't bend that way.
What's amazing, on back to the topic though, what's amazing is how they don't really rely on outside funding, like Patreon, for example, or Kickstarter.
Well, that's the other thing. A lot of games that were Kickstarted have ended up on Epic now, and Epic has offered to fund any Kickstarter refunds that occur for games that are exclusive.
Wasn't there one you were saying about the other day where after all the abuse that he copped, he just turned around and threw the towel in and said, "No, screw it all," and walked away.
Yeah, he's taken down the video now, but it was the developer of the game, Police 1013, and he'd held a Kickstarter and developed for a while, but was so overwhelmed by the negative treatment from obviously a small sector of the gaming community, but big enough to have serious effects, and it was feeding into his pre-existing mental issues that he just decided he couldn't take it and he had to cancel the game.
Well, yeah, like just can't. Yeah, I'm sick and tired of a lot of this just being negative for the sake of being negative, and keyboard tough guys or keyboard cowboys. I'm not sure. There's different terms I've heard used for them. People need to just try and treat each other as another person. Treat them the way they want to be treated instead of all this constant dribble. I'm sorry. That's my rant for the week. Wow. I'm sure I'll come up with another one tomorrow.
Be nice to each other or Buck will find you and you're not going to like it.
I don't know. Actually, I honestly don't think I could be bothered, like, because most of them are such gutless wonders that they wouldn't have the nerve to see your face. They've got to be hidden behind a keyboard.
Hmm. It's a-
And I'm not worried about those sorts of idiots because the simple fact is all you got to do is just switch them to mute and boot them.
Yeah, but it's pretty hard though. I mean, like let's say, like look at what happened recently with Glumberland and the game Gooblets, and when they moved to Epic Games, when the Gooblets went to Epic Game Store, oh Ooblets, I mean, when Ooblets went to Epic Game Store, people were like really mad.
Well, yeah, but we've also got the Chinese who turned around and shut down games, was it PUBG and so forth, because of the toxic nature of the community.
Oh, there's a game that actually got completely shut down by China because it included a reference to Xi Jinping as Winnie the Pooh.
Well, so like the methods are out there where they're supposed to have moderators watching all this sort of stuff, and if you're doing it, you get muted or booted. It's not hard to do, and it's just they just got to turn around and make us the people have to behave as a human being towards each other.
But what do you reckon? The age of crowdfunding games. Do you reckon that's a new paradigm in a sense?
Well,
It's
it's
not
been going.
exactly new. Like Kickstarter's been around since what 2011, 2012.
And it's not going to end anytime soon, hopefully. Otherwise, the StarCon, whatever it is, Citizen
Star
ripoff,
Citizen.
the Citizen ripoff is going to be out of money because after all, they've got to steal money from somewhere. But yeah, so what's your proposal as a solution, Professor, for the stress of funding? Any other than Epic, is there anything else out there that we can look at?
Well, if you live in Queensland, I don't have a link in the show notes, but I will get one there for you. The Screen Queensland is having a funding round at the moment to apply for as a game developer. And they've been pretty good about it in the past. So if you're in that field and you don't know about it already, it's been posted on the Brisbane Independent Game Developer Association page. And it's worth giving it a go. Just see if you get funded.
And not
Awesome.
get poached by Epic.
Well, if Epic's actually looking after the developers, like I'm not actually going to be against them for that.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just a shame there's all the other controversy about it. But this Screen Queensland program is $186,636 in funding for 5 Queensland games. This is last year's article, DJ.
Yeah, but this is for 2018 to 2019 game development program.
Yeah, and they've just started that new round of funding.
Which will be 2019 to 2020.
Yeah. But anyway, this one, for last year, they funded an unannounced title, Unpacking Lanterns, Fledgling Heroes, and Lifeboat Earth. And I know the developers of some of these, but I'm not sure any of them have actually come out yet. But the people I know, I'm sure that the funding has helped them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. We got an updated one. I think I've got an updated one.
You got an updated one. That's good.
Yes, that's the correct one, DJ.
Oh, good.
But yeah. All right. Well, yeah, something to look at, folks. There's opportunities out there for you to look at. Moving along, the next topic we have up is from the DJ, and it's a Picard prequel comics.
I've just noticed this still isn't the right one, DJ.
Really?
This one closed in February. Just let me do it. I'll get back to you later with the link.
All right.
So while you're sorting that out, I'm going to get a cup of very hot.
Get me one too, Bucky. Get me one too.
Hey, I'm the captain. You get your own. You should be getting it for me.
So, fresh off from the announcement that there'll be a spin-off series called Star Trek Picard. The plot will be basically picking up a few years after the events of Star Trek: The Next Generation and various movie outings of the crew. It finds Patrick Stewart's Jean-Luc Picard retired from Starfleet and spending time on his family vineyard, but called back to adventure by a dangerous new mystery. And then a couple of months later, on San Diego Comic-Con, the trailer came out, and it featured footage from former Next Gen co-star Brett Spiner and Star Trek Voyager star Jeri Ryan reprising her role as 709. It also announced that Jonathan Frakes and Marina Sirtis would be reprising their roles as William T. Riker and Deanna Troi. And as the trailer came out, we've now discovered that there'll be a prequel comic and a prequel novel. So the prequel comic, which would be called Star Trek Picard Countdown, which is an IDW publishing, will be a 3-issue series written by Mike Johnson and Picard co-writer Kirsten Beyer, focusing on the single mission that changed the character's life forever. Then that's be running from November to January next year. And you've got the prequel novel, which will be called The Last Best Hope, which leads directly to the new show and introducing some of the other characters.
I'm kind of disappointed it's not about the vineyard.
I was getting all excited that they're saying a prequel for Picard. Like I was hoping like we'd get the young Picard as a child running around on the vineyard and growing up and becoming a man, going off to the academy and becoming the brilliant captain that he was. Like there's so much they could have done. We could have had Picard with hair.
The person who's writing the prequel novel, by the way, Una McCormack, she is famous for numerous tie-ins based on the science fiction series Star Trek and Doctor Who.
Awesome.
So that'll be fun to read. That'll be fun to read. She's written 4 Doctor Who novels from the new series adventures range by the BBC Books, The King's Dragon, The Way to the Woods, Royal Blood, and Molten Heart.
Okay.
So it looks like it's in good hands.
Well, fingers crossed.
But that's interesting though, how some of these characters coming back after so long being absent from the Star Trek universe. Like I was reading an article the other day where Jeri Ryan, who plays the 709, she found it very difficult to play 709, especially getting the voice down.
Yes. Is she still going to be wearing the same outfit?
Unfortunately, no. The trailer showed a different version of 709. Like they didn't have the whole slick back hair. They had the iconic eyepiece and all, but
yeah, no. I'm just more interested in
the costume.
the costume. Like, I know there's lots of people around the world who were watching that back in the day, and just as soon as she came on the screen, it was all smiles all around.
You were one of them, weren't you, Bucky?
I'm not going to lie. I did actually enjoy watching her on there, but it was more the fact that she was a strong character. You get some of the characters that are thrown into some of these things, and they're thrown in as a peace offering sort of position, whereas 709 was really well written. Like she was balanced out really well against characters like Picard and so forth, because she had that strength as a character and so forth. Whereas who was it that played the commander? Ryder Robertson, was it?
The commander for Voyager.
Yeah. Was it Commander Riker?
No, that was Jen.
Yeah, Voyager
Janeway?
was Janeway.
Yeah, that's right.
Janeway. But like you had some of them there where it was like the commander that was the XO for Picard. Just he was such a weak character that they could have done so much more with. Like they were trying to make a new Spock against the captain, but he just didn't quite get there. So yeah.
In the new Picard series, I've also gathered that this will also be set after Star Trek Nemesis. So we're gonna get not the good data, but the okay data. If you guys have seen the movie.
Okay. So is there anything special we need to look out for with this?
I reckon we'll be seeing a lot of like Easter eggs all throughout the series. The comics, as I said, they'll be running from November to January. It'll be 3 issues, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of mysteries that'll be solved in Picard's life that we will know.
Well, hopefully we'll get to see when he first drank his Earl Grey.
Yeah.
But moving along again before you get chased out by security. There's actually been a bit of kickback against e-scooters because a lot of people are saying, they're the green option for transport for getting around and all this sort of stuff. But there's a study from North Carolina State University that finds it's actually not quite that simple. And in fact, shared e-scooters may not be greener than most cars. In fact, they're less green than at least several other options. So I'm sure there's going to be a few people out there that are going to be sitting down and hopefully their yoga mat will cushion the blow of them falling onto their brain. But yeah, like there's issues such as the method of charging. What's a lot of the electricity still being used by the people is being generated by coal burning power stations, etc. But one of the interesting facts is the statistics that the researchers come out with that 49% of riders would have biked or walked, 34% would have used a car, 11% would have taken a bus, and 7% just wouldn't have taken the trip. So, and that was similar to results that were found by the city of Portland in relation to e-scooters. So next walk or take a bus is actually apparently the better option.
Yeah, well, when you're using e-scooters, you're risking your life in a sense where you might either fall and land your head on the concrete pylon, or
that's why Lime scooters and you're supposed to legally wear helmets in Australia.
And you can trip over walking down the street and bump your head on a concrete pylon.
People have survived falling out of an aircraft, like cruising altitude, fallen out, survived, no parachute or anything. And people have died tripping over a crack in the concrete.
Actually, here we go. I got a scientific study proposal. Let's test what sort of impacts people can survive by putting the DJ through a series of scenarios.
Why me?
Okay, but the problem is, like, how do we know the first impact? Because over time, his skull will fracture and become brittle from subsequent impacts. So we need to clone the DJ and create a small army.
Okay, no.
Hang on.
You said cloning the DJ. That just ended that idea.
Hang on. Why me? Why don't we put you two through the crashing tests?
Because someone needs to write down the results.
Yeah.
Really?
And you're the crash test dummy.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy that spin, huh?
Well, pretty sure you will. You bought lots of other stuff, unless.
But that's interesting though. Like how people are saying that e-scooter, when e-scooters came out, people were saying, "Oh, this will be the next environmentally friendly thing. This will help out the environment and stuff." Now, when you get this revelation, it just kind of.
Well, they can be. It's like being like it's just they've got to create the charge points. Like there's solar power charging they could set up and the stuff. But see, a lot of them, You get them where they redistribute the scooters using a car.
Yeah.
So they got the guy in the car driving around and parking in places, and therefore that's creating a bit of a traffic congestion. Plus, there's the added exhaust fumes affecting the climate. And here's one thing that people don't take into consideration with this: the actual manufacturer of the scooters and the batteries and all the system, the byproducts from some of that is actually pretty toxic. So, like the nickel lithium ion batteries and all that for the recharging batteries, are pretty toxic to produce and have some pretty toxic materials in them. And then when you get the scooters, the pretty colors that some of them get, depending on how it's painted, some of that is absolutely disastrous if it's leaked into the environment, and it's got to be stored away in special bunkers similar to nuclear waste, because the chemicals will literally make your skin melt off, sort of stuff, make you glow in the
At
dark.
least we're not using lead paint anymore.
No, the lead paint was actually probably more environmentally friendly than some of this stuff, to be honest.
Also, there's a correlation between lead paint and crime.
Lead paint and crime.
Yeah, so if you look at the crime statistics since the year they banned lead paint, it's been on a downward trend since then.
Yeah, but is that a causative correlation, or is it just we got smart enough to realize that lead paint was bad for you, and at the same time, policing started employing smarter methods of crime solving, i.e., things such as fingerprint analysis, etc.
I'm inclined to think it's a bit of both, because lead exposure is known for causing, for lowering the average IQ of a region, and criminals statistically have lower IQs. I think it's the theory that they go with for this. Been a while since I've read up on it.
But see, you've still got people out there doing things to lower their IQs. Like the latest one is the Rexona sniffing, where they're spraying Rexona into the cap or whatever and sniffing that.
God, that's a thing now?
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where Rexona and some of the other deodorants are now you have to ask for them at the counter. You can't. It's not just available on the shelf in certain shops in the cities and so forth, because kids were just going in and stealing it. So it used to be chroming, now it's Rexoning. At least they smell better.
No, having been to a high school, I can tell you that large amounts of deodorant in a confined space do not smell better.
Yeah, but
deodorant is not a shower.
Yeah, but you got to compare that to the alternative, which was spray paint.
Yeah.
Or glue.
Well, no, chroming, which is what they used to use, which is the spray paint. They would spray that into Coke bottles and sniff it to get high.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually more toxic than glue. So the chemicals on that are more pungent.
Have you ever seen a mugshot of someone who's been brought in for chroming?
I can do you one better. I've actually been there.
Oh, wow. It's just like the war boys from Mad Max.
Oh, no. Some are even worse. In real life, they look just, you wonder what's going wrong.
But back to the topic about e-scooters. So could you say that we might see, you know how we had the whole bike graveyards? You reckon we'll be seeing e-scooter graveyards in the near future?
Have you seen the Brisbane River?
Like people have actually been throwing lime scooters into waterways and so forth, which is kind of stupid. But no, I reckon e-scooters are probably going to be here to stay. They've just got to improve the operation and so forth. Like there's the new one that's coming on the market in Brisbane. I forgot their name, but they've got a larger wheel on them, and a bigger deck. So they're actually starting to become more of a realistic option for a larger percentage of the population rather than just a small footprint. So yeah, like electric powered devices such as e-scooters and electric powered cars are the way of the future, because fossil fuels, there is a finite supply, and we've got to start developing alternatives. And while there are some pollution issues, it's a matter of they just got to make sure they got the protection for the manufacturing processes and start looking into developing better electric generation, such as solar power, wind power, tidal flow. But that's just me. And then get the people who are distributing these scooters around the place. Like I saw one bloke for Lime Scooters who was actually riding one of their scooters to drag a little trailer where he had all the others lined up on it to get them around the place.
I've seen a guy who does one better, and he stacks them up, like riding 6 scooters, like all balanced on top of the one scooter he was riding.
Yeah. Well, the one with the trailer had I didn't count how many he had on there, but he had a stack of them on there, and he was riding around and redistributing them around. I thought, well, that's a clever idea because he's less likely to crash. Because I've seen the guys stacking them up, but I figured the trailer was just a bit of a safer option. So, but yeah, like there's people out there that are trying to do the right things. So yeah, we just got to be aware that there are some issues there. It's not 100% perfect.
But can we talk about the environmental impact of having to replace all of the bloody helmets that get stolen?
Well, yes. There must be a market out there somewhere where people are selling Lime scooter helmets.
I saw a guy on the train the other day during peak hour with a bike and a Lime helmet.
Because they're such a sexy looking helmet as well.
Absolutely. You're going to pull all the chicks with them.
There you go, DJ. Now we know what you're doing wrong.
I think the professor's jealous because he doesn't have a helmet. He has a Cooper hat.
Yeah, but he also has a girlfriend.
And she likes my hat.
There's more chicks who dig the Akubra than dig the helmet. We'll send you to the Gimpy Ute Muster one year.
He couldn't cope with that. That would be too country for him.
Yeah, he might get in trouble in many, many ways. But moving along, what game have you been playing, Professor?
I have unfortunately not had time to play anything.
What?
I know. I'm letting the team down.
Oh, this
shame.
Oh no.
Shame.
Shame.
Hey, you settled down.
Before I was really busy the last week, I was playing the They Are Billions campaign, and I'm a bit stuck on it at the moment.
They Are
Not
Billions.
sure where to go from here. I might have to restart and try a different tech tree.
Okay. So where are you stuck? Can we put our collective brain processes together to help you, or is it?
Yeah, well, it's a level where I need to mine a whole bunch of gold and not get eaten by all of the millions of zombies.
Okay. Are you able to put up remote operated turrets that will shoot the zombies for you?
Unfortunately not, because I haven't unlocked that tech yet.
What about fences?
I do have fences, but then the billions of zombies come and pull them down.
Can you electrify the fence?
I had planning approval.
Can you electrify the fence?
No.
Okay.
So I'm thinking I need to go back and try a different tech tree and see if I can figure it out.
Yeah, get the remote operated turrets so that they can provide cover fire for you.
Yes, that would be really nice to have.
No, the DJ has left the building. So
he's run away. He doesn't want to admit that he hasn't been playing games.
Well, he's told us he's played a game. Well, wait, if he comes back, he can tell us.
Okay.
I, on the other hand, have been playing Company of Heroes 2, which is the Russian campaign at the moment. And that's actually, quite interesting. You have the different missions you go through, and they've got the order, I can't remember, is it 282 or something, where there was no retreat. And if you tried to retreat, you would be shot. So, yeah, it's just pushing ahead and trying to take the points from the Germans. And yeah, unfortunately, one of the missions I had to do was in the middle of winter, just outside Stalingrad. So I actually lost 3 companies before I managed to make any headway because of the simple fact that they were freezing to death.
Were you playing as the Russians there?
Yeah. So
it's just like a training exercise for them.
Well, yeah, like you start off with two little squads, and you're moving down towards the first fire, and one of them froze before I managed to make it to the first fire, and then you have to blow up German tanks. So as I blew one up, unfortunately, it also blew up the hut next to it that had the engineers who had just placed the bomb and one of the squads of soldiers that had survived the first initial freeze. So I was left with one squad of engineers and 2 sets of snipers to try and take over a German base. But strangely enough, the snipers are actually quite good at taking out the Germans. So I set them up in good positions with cover and just sniped away and slowly killed the Germans. So sorry to the German listeners. I'm not hating on you guys.
Hans, get the Flammenwerfer.
It was part of the target of the game. So moving along to shout outs, we have on the 5th of August in 1914 in Cleveland, Ohio, traffic was ruined by those stinking Yanks by the implementation of the first electric traffic light being installed.
And they still can't figure out the roundabouts.
Yeah. So many things are attributed back to the Americans. They say it may well better. Yeah, I think they were the first country to report a traffic jam, weren't they? Also on the 5th of August, in 1966, the Beatles released the single Yellow Submarine with Eleanor Rigby in the UK. And that was an awesome song and movie. On the 5th of August in 1936, American athlete Jesse Owens wins 200 meters in world record times, and also which was 20.7, and also his 3rd gold medal at the Berlin Olympics. And I have to say here that apparently Adolf Hitler was a fan of Jesse Owens because he was such an amazing athlete. So yes, that's all we're going to say on that one, because otherwise I'll get in trouble, I'm sure. I'll probably get in trouble anyway. But on the 5th of August 2010, Copiapo mining accident, also known as the Chile mining accident, began with a cave-in at the San Jose copper gold mine, located in the Atacama Desert, 40 kilometers north of the regional capital of Copiapo in northern Chile. 33 men were trapped 700 meters underground and 4 kilometers from the mine's entrance via spiraling ramps. They were rescued after 69 days. And I remember that when this was on the news, like they managed to get a small pod down there to get them a phone and transfer food and water to them. And yeah, at one point they were singing songs.
Yeah, they had a song leader. And check out the Wikipedia page on the rescue pod they had.
And strangely enough, it worked really well, even without what's his name from Tesla? Elon Musk. So yeah, moving along before I get sued by Elon Musk, because that's one of the things he likes to do. On the 4th and 5th of August 1962, Marilyn Monroe, American actress, model, singer, bombshell, sex symbol, famous for playing comic blonde bombshell characters, became one of the most popular sex symbols in the 1950s and 60s, and was emblematic of the era's changing attitudes towards sexuality. Although she was only top billed as an actress for a decade, her films grossed over $200 million, which is equivalent to $2 billion in 2018. And more than half a century later, she continues to be a major pop culture icon. Unfortunately, she died of an overdose of barbiturates at the age of 36 in Los Angeles. And I actually heard on the radio that they're still discussing whether or not it was an accident or she was murdered by the CIA.
For sleeping with JFK.
Well, not so much for sleeping with him, but they believe, the latest was that they believed that she had information about someone in the CIA being involved with the shooter on the hill. So, yeah, she was a loose end that had to be tied up. But yes, all unconfirmed and conspiracy theory sort of stuff. So, shout out to the guys from the conspiracy theory team. On the 4th of August, 2019, Stu Rosen, American voice actor and director, died from cancer at the age of 80 in Los Alamitos, California. He is known for such iconic television programs where he's voiced and directed, such as Fraggle Rock, which, if you don't know Fraggle Rock, I'm sorry, but I don't know if we could be friends. The first episodes of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Biker Mice from Mars, and many, 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 many more. Other shows include Batman, the animated series, X-Men, Spider-Man, Superman. So he dabbled with Marvel but decided DC was more fun. There you go, folks. We've solved another mystery. On the 5th of August 2000, Alec Guinness, English actor, unfortunately died from liver cancer at the age of 86 in Midhurst, West Sussex, I should say, sorry. He's known for his collaborations with David Lean, Herbert Pocket in Great Expectations. He played Fagin in Oliver Twist, Colonel Nicholson in The Bridge on the River Kwai, Prince Faisal in Lawrence of Arabia, and General Yevgav Zhivago in Dr. Zhivago.
Yeah, we don't have the DJ. How are we going to know how to pronounce things?
Yes. So it's Yevgraf Zhivago in Dr. Zhivago. I got my false teeth back in at my extremely old age, as the professor likes to tell me occasionally. He also played Dr. Godbol in A Passage to India. He also played Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original Star Wars trilogy. So, yeah, absolute amazing legend who definitely is missed. He actually, I don't know if you ever heard any of the interviews he was in where he had a really, really dry, wicked sense of humor. Very typically English, was the understated.
Yeah, I can't say I've seen him in any interviews.
Okay. Moving on to birthdays, we have 5th of August, 1862. Joseph Merrick, who was an Englishman with severe deformities. Should we leave it at that, or should we continue?
You can continue if you want.
Okay. He was first exhibited at a freak show as the Elf, and then went to live at the London Hospital after he met Frederick Treves, who subsequently becoming well known in London society. He was born in Leicester. 5th of August, 1930. Do you want to do the fanfare there, Professor?
Okay, drum roll.
Neil Armstrong, American astronaut and astronautical engineer. The man who said the line, "One small step for a man, but a giant leap for mankind," when he first stepped foot on the moon. So, yes, one of the posters the professor's got on his bedroom wall that he looks at admiringly.
I do not.
You don't?
No, I don't have any posters on my bedroom wall at the moment.
Oh, okay. But you would have a poster of him there if you had any posters, wouldn't you?
If I had a poster of Neil Armstrong, then I would have it on my wall.
Okay, I can go with that. I'm surprised you haven't got posters of him. On the 5th of August, 1889, Conrad Aiken, American writer, whose works include poetry and short stories, novels, a play, and an autobiography. Aiken wrote or edited more than 51 books, the first of which was published in 1914, 2 years after his graduation from Harvard. He's also what was the prize he won? DJ left out the one part that I wanted him to make sure he got in there.
Thanks a lot, DJ. The poetry consultant of the Library of Congress.
No, Pulitzer. He won the Pulitzer Prize for poetry. Was?
Yes, in 1930 for selected poems.
Yes. I've actually read some of his poetry, and yeah, we've got to try and encourage people to read poetry because it's becoming an overlooked part of the soul of our society. It's because of our lack of poetry, we're ending up with people swallowing Tide Pods, whatnot. So,
I was waiting for the get off my lawn moment.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You just look at some of the stupid people out there. If they were intelligent enough to read poetry, they'd probably be thinking, I could swallow a laundry detergent and it's not going to kill me. Yes. Anyway, fifth events of interest on the 5th of 1888. Bertha Benz was the first person to drive an automobile over a long distance, rigorously field testing the patent Motorwagen, inventing brake pads and solving several engineering issues during the 65-mile trip. Yeah, I like the fact that she actually had time on that 65-mile trip where she could actually invent brake pads and solve the engineering issues.
Yeah, she was having trouble with the brakes, so she got a cobbler to put some leather on them and invented brake pads.
So, yep, the trip occurred in early 1888. As the entrepreneurial lady took her sons Eugen and Richard, 15 and 14 years old, respectively, on a ride from Mannheim through Heidelberg and Weisschlock to her maternal home in Forschein. I'm sorry if I've butchered the pronunciation there. Once again, we haven't got the DJ to correct me. As well as being the driver, Benz acted as mechanic on the drive, cleaning the carburetor with her hat pin and using a garter to insulate wire. Such racy, wanton behaviour. And for those who are interested, it was a 3-wheel automobile, apparently. And
looks like a lot of fun to drive.
Yeah, like I'd love to be able to take one of these out for a spin. The fact that
probably knock one up in a weekend with a welder.
Yeah, would it be of the same quality though? Because that was built by Benz, and she invented brake pads while driving it. Plus, she's German. It's got to be better than what I can make. 5th of August, 1926, Harry Houdini performs his great feat, spending 91 minutes underwater in a sealed tank before escaping. Maybe he had a book he wanted to read while he was there. That's the reason why it took 91 minutes.
Yeah, just bugger off and leave me alone. I'm going to go sit in the tank.
Yeah, we know what he wasn't reading Superman or Batman because it was 1926. It was for their time. Maybe he was reading The Phantom or something, or Dick Tracy. 5th of August, 1930, S.A. Andres balloon polar expedition of 1897 was aimed to cross the North Pole in 43 hours in a hydrogen balloon, then journey on to land thanks to the financial support of the Swedish King Oscar II and Alfred Nobel. Unfortunately, Andres' balloon lost much of its steering capabilities just after launch, when a number of drag ropes fell from the craft and ballast sand which was thrown overboard. The remaining ropes could be seen trailing in the water till the balloon vanished out of sight, and that was the last anyone heard or saw of the trio for more than 30 years. The discovery came on the 5th of August 1930 when the Norwegian Brattvarg expedition found remains on White Island on the Svalbard archipelago of a headless body disturbed by polar bears propped up against a rock. Further investigations by a journalist revealed the bodies of both his companions and diaries detailing much of their ordeal. A camera was found and 93 eerie negatives were developed of their tragic journey. The remains of the expedition were home to Stockholm to a grand procession where they were feted as national heroes. So they didn't have a happy ending, but at least they were looked after.
Yeah, it's a shame they never made it. That would have been really going down in history.
Yes. And that looks like that's it for another episode. So we still don't know what game the DJ was playing. Well, we know.
Is he alive? Is he dead? Who knows?
Will he be back? Where can the good folks find us and contact us, Professor?
Twitter at namalgamated, email at nerdsonamalgamated@gmail.com, our Facebook page as usual, the That's Not Canon website, or on Stitcher, Spotify, and iTunes, or any of the other major podcast sites.
Awesome. And what's the name of our podcast affiliates that deal with conspiracy theories.
That's Elvis Lives.
That's Elvis Lives. So there you go, folks.
Yes,
Other than
go check them out.
tell them we said hi. That's it for another week. So take care, look out for each other, stay safe, and stay hydrated.
And we'll see you next week.
Hooroo.